Hey golfers, today we are at the 2024 PGA Show Demo Day. Drew Mahowald here with Kevin Kraft, Master Club Fitter. Today we're learning about new products. We're going through different manufacturer tents, if you will, here at the PGA Show. We started with Cobra here today, Kevin. But first of all, before we get into all that, what do you love most about coming here to the PGA Show, Demo Day in particular? We've got all the products out here to test, all the new gadgets out there. What's your favorite part?
It's the overall excitement. Like this is the new beginning, right? Every year we get the new beginning. So that's what this is. This is, everybody gets to see this stuff. You know, a lot of people are seeing it for the first time. We're a little bit fortunate that we get this stuff early, right? But for most of these people, this is really their first time to get their hands on it, right?
Yeah, so. And there's certainly that excitement here. And obviously Cobra kind of brings the energy here with their setup. You got music bumping, you got there's just a ton of energy around here, and they brought it with their product too. So the fitting team got to have a conversation with Jose Miraflor. You know, he's brilliant and does a lot of things for Cobra. So the presentation, is there anything that you learned about the Cobra DARKSPEED products this year from Jose?
So Jose was really great going kind of deep dive into things that us fitters really want to know. Lie angles, MOI values, right? And then really the construction side of things. We see the finished product, right? Well, with those things all dissected like this, we can see how their technologies are working and what they're designed to do for every different kind of player. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I think, and that's the really cool part about these presentations is it goes really behind the scenes, almost like under the hood, right? Is what you guys got to look at there. And now you guys can take that back, obviously, to the stores, everything too. So, all right, I know your guys' next stop is going to be a fun one. We're going to be at Titleist. Learning about the new SM10 wedges, so we'll check back with you then.
Sounds good.
Well, let's go through SM10. So we're really, really proud of SM10. I don't know if you saw the tour results this week, both in Dubai and in the desert at the American Express, but it's the quickest uptake on tour we've ever had. And here are the few key changes that we made with SM10. Number one, when Bob is always asked, how are you going to make the next wedge better? He tries to focus on 3 keys to wedge play. First one is shot versatility. So we're talking about grinds. You've got to get the right grind to give you the right contact. And when we talk about contact, we want players striking the ball consistently between grooves 2 and 5, nice and low on the face.
All right, we just completed a visit with Titleist, Mr. Kraft.
Always enjoyable with Titleist.
So, the SM10 wedges. What was your big takeaway from that? The Vokey wedges always kill it. That's not a secret, but there was a couple things that I thought were interesting in the way Corey presented them to us there.
So for me, it's just consistent, nice progression forward. Right. So, you know, Bob is a master at his trade, and he's always looking to find ways to make wedge play easier and wedge play more consistent. So the changes that he's making, you know, we've got 2 different kinds of grooves for the different lofts. We've got you know, new grind options, and you know, obviously from an aesthetic perspective, we got a new finish too.
Oh,
puppy.
Like a puppy.
So the new finish is going to be a good one.
I think I was impressed by the center of gravity changes too.
Absolutely.
It's kind of progressive. So in the you know, they raise it in the higher lofts to give it a low penetrating flight, and they also kind of moved it towards the center in the lower lofts.
We got all that loft on a 60. We don't need really need help getting the ball up in the air, so we need a little help keeping it down.
So
I did confirm that they did change the leading edge a little bit, so they've actually straightened that out. That's something that I, as a golfer, really like. I like that straight leading edge. So, you know, some really nice changes, both aesthetically and from a functional standpoint.
All right. Well, next stop here is Srixon, and then Mizuno. So let's get our Srixon.
Yes, sir.
Wedges. RTX CBX4 is new this year, and there's a new Smart Sole line. The Smart Sole line now features a lob wedge, which is pretty cool. High lofted, super forgiving. So that's 4 clubs within that set. CBX4, we think this hits the meat of the market. Like 80% of golfers should be in this. I know it's a lot more in the blade wedge, but shares almost all of the same tech with the RTX line. So same grooves, same Hydra Zip spin technology for consistent wet to dry. Zip core is in there. but we've hollowed out a lot of this. This is a plaque here that kind of doesn't quite look like a plaque, but there's a lot of weight shifted toward the toe.
All right, now joining is Jake Montgomery. Jake is the fitting manager at Minneapolis, very recently actually became, so congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
But Jake, we just stopped at Srixon, Cleveland, Zexio, the whole thing. New woods, new irons. What was the big takeaway you had from that session?
I honestly would say what stood out to me is their wedge versatility. They have a wedge really for any player. If you're someone that can't get out of a bunker, if you really struggle kind of flubbing your chip shots, that Smart Sole is going to do almost all the work for you. They got a new 62 degree this year, so it's going to go high, it's going to spin, it's going to stop pretty well. The new CBX4, the really good one for particularly gap wedge. Keep up a little bit more in terms of ball speeds with your traditional set pitching wedges. And then they have their RTXs as well that are kind of their classic wedge line with a new full face.
Yeah, I think the full face thing, I think they made a comment that it seems like it's more popular than maybe people think out there. Like I think a lot of golfers are interested, maybe not so much on tour, but certainly the players that might hit the ball all over the face could certainly benefit from that full face technology.
I mean, it'd be great for me personally just because when I hit a flop shot, I'm almost always on that toe.
Right.
Little extra grooves ain't gonna hurt me.
Yeah. I think the other part too that I wanted to note as well, moving on to Mizuno next, but was the Zipcore XL irons.
Yes.
I think because Jeff made a comment there that they kind of look like a Srixon iron.
They do. They have a lot of that traditional shaping.
But a lot of the technology, sort of the user-friendly performance there too, that I think you'll see probably going to be really popular for players that might be mid to high handicappers.
Absolutely. They've kind of blended that forgiveness that Cleveland is known for with that classic look that Srixon has. It's a really great package for people. Definitely a little bigger iron than you're used to, especially forgiving in those 4 or 5 irons that people might play.
Yeah.
Be a lot easier to hit.
Sure. Well, Mizuno's up next.
Yeah.
Let's head that way.
Absolutely. Sounds great.
The theme behind the Mizuno Pro line this year, it's the new age of forging. That being said, it sort of everything we've been doing incrementally over the past 15, 20 years has kind of built up to the final product of the 2.4 series. Us being able to forge different metals, chromoly in the 2.43, chromoly in the 2.45, keeping the 1025 Elite Carbon in the muscle back. This year, the 2.43 is the thinnest we've gone on a cavity back, our micro slot design on the 4 through 7 iron, and then going into just one piece grain flow forged 1025E on the 8 through gap wedge, no micro slot.
All right, Mr. Kevin Kraft, we're kind of winding down the day here at the PGA Show Demo Day 2024. Since we last talked to you, we stopped at Srixon, Cleveland, Zexio, that area.
Yep.
And then we also went to Mizuno and learned about the new irons and ST Max. So wanted to start by kind of going back to Srixon and Cleveland. I know there's some products that Jeff presented to us there a little bit. What was the thing that you most took away from that conversation?
Well, we really focus on the Cleveland side of things. So Cleveland is now primarily in the game improvement category for their brand, right? Srixon's sort of the little bit better player stuff. So new irons, Zipcore irons, look really, really good. It's a nice sized iron, not overly big, but really, really forgiving. A couple different wedge options, the Halo XL irons for those that don't mind a little bit bigger, more forgiving iron. The first iron that we've seen with a full face, so grooves go all the way to the edge. That's definitely a new one in the industry, so that's cool. The woods are actually really good as well. Some different options there. They've got a hybrid. They have a high wood, which is kind of in between, and then they got their fairway woods. Yeah,
I'm fascinated by a high wood. I mean, there's like Callaway's got their UW, their utility wood. It's a little bit like that, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking before I even got it in my hands, right? Because that was kind of be that area that they were going to be living in, and that's really what it looked like to me when I put it down. It's definitely halfway between a hybrid and a fairway wood. So
and I'm sure you get a lot of players too that are kind of they don't want either one. I mean, like they're not confident with a hybrid or a fairway wood, or maybe they don't want like the 7 wood or 9 wood in their bag, and that's
really a perfect person, for that golf club too. Because if you get somebody that struggles with fairway woods, oftentimes a lot of that's length. Yeah. And then if you got somebody that maybe hits down a little too much on a fairway wood, hybrid's actually going to be a better option. But that high wood's really going to kind of, fill that gap
Sure.
between those two things.
Sure. Last big stop was Mizuno.
Yeah.
We got all the points, the talking points.
Yes.
And all the information, all the R&D from John Freeman and Chris Foschel.
Yeah.
Mizuno Pro irons, we know about those already a little bit.
Yeah.
ST Max drivers and fairway woods and hybrids are a little bit new there.
Yeah.
So what was your takeaway on the ST Max woods?
So a little bigger footprint.
Yeah.
Right. So Max is all about forgiveness. I think almost no matter who you go to,
Yeah, you're right.
Max is pretty much your forgiveness thing. So they're trying to hit that consumer that just wants a little extra help. The STG was a new release not too long ago. That was the better player side of things. Driver and the new fairway woods. The Max is going to be that just a little bit more helpful side of things.
Yeah.
And that was a great presentation. They were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, oh yeah, Mizuno is always
Really
fantastic
good.
with that. Chris is awesome, and John was really good as well. I think the ST Max, represents a different addition to the line for them because they've had the STX, and it's a draw bias, but it's not really like a high MOI draw bias. It's a little bit unique in that sense, and so I think there was the room for them to add sort of a more forgiving model.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think it's going to be a pretty good one for Mizuno.
And it seems to be a little bit of the trend this year. You've got Ping with the G430 10K Max, right? And you've got TaylorMade with the Max, and you got Mizuno with the Max. So, look, golf is hard. So I don't know if if you've watched me try to hit golf shots, golf is hard. So there's always room to try and make things a little bit easier, a little friendlier, a little more fun. Because this is a game, we're supposed to be having fun, right? Yeah. We shouldn't be out here, banging our heads around, just struggling.
Well, that's kind of why all these companies and manufacturers are here. They have products to help everybody here play better golf. That's the goal. So,
except for that Canon thing they got going on over there, that is not to help people play better golf. I don't know.
Like we just talked about off camera, it's entertaining, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. It seems like.
No.
But hopefully they're not watching this. So, golfers, that was our experience today at the 2024 PGA Show Demo Day. A lot of learning about new products. I know Kevin, like the other fitters, is going to take this to the fitting bays. So you should schedule your fitting at Second Swing with someone like Kevin or any of our experts. And whether they were here today or whether they're back in the stores, we've captured everything they got today, so they're all going to be trained in the same fashion. So our fitters are second to none in the industry. That goes without saying. So Kevin, thanks for your breakdown of the day today, your feedback. It's going to be a great year for golf clubs, I think.
It really is. I'm very excited about this year. A lot of really good stuff out.